I say this all the time on other podcasts. I much prefer the overwhelm of abundance to the overwhelm of scarcity. I know being overwhelmed can suck at times, but I would rather be overwhelmed with opportunities than overwhelmed with time.
Way back in the early days of this business, probably 3 or 4 years in, I used to get kicked out of a Panera Bread up in Worcester, Massachusetts, because I would stay there until basically 10 p.m., and they had bottomless coffee, and I was just grinding every single day. And I think now I understand why they thought I was a weirdo.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2139, intentional overwhelm isn't a bad thing. So we had our team call last night, Wednesday night, if you're listening to this on Friday, and I was driving down to get fitted for my tux for Matt's wedding.
How'd it go, man?
It was in the car. It was quick and easy. Yeah, it was quick and easy. Not bad. Not bad.
A little different than last time you got fitted.
What do you mean?
Biceps are a little bigger now.
Biceps are a little bigger. Waist is a little bit smaller.
Nice.
Right? She said, what's your waist size? I said, I wear a 32. She said, all right, cool. And then when I tried the pants on, I said, they're a little loose. She said, that's not a bad thing. I said, you're right. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But I was in the car for our meeting, which is very, very rare for me. Usually I'm sat right here. And at one point, we were talking about the Dreamliner and how we're going to do a revamp of the Dreamliner. We want to redo it. We want to add new questions. We want to make it more valuable. That's always a thing. And I was like, I can't do it anytime soon. Alan said, we're going to do Q1 2026. Awesome. Christina said, when are you going to start working on that, Kev? I said, late Q4 2025 is when I'll start working on it.
1st, 2026.
2026? Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said Q1 2026, which means that you have
January
3 months
1st.
to do it, starting January 1st.
The very beginning. And we were talking about how we're so unbelievably overwhelmed, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Intentional overwhelm is drastically different than, I don't know, misaligned overwhelm, unintentional overwhelm, unconscious overwhelm. If you're out there right now and you're a dream chaser and you're trying to work towards something and you're trying to accomplish goals and you're trying to make progress and make more money and have more impact, whatever the hell it is, you being overwhelmed is a good thing because it means that you're making progress. And sometimes I think we need to look back on when we were broke, or when you didn't have any clients, or when you didn't have any photo shoots coming up, or whatever the hell it is, to realize how important it is to be overwhelmed. I did a post yesterday that got a lot of love, and it was just a picture of me lying in bed looking at my phone. And I was talking about how in 2019, we were broke as shit. Mm-hmm. And you know what I was overwhelmed with?
Yeah. You were broke as shit.
Well, we were broke as shit as a business. As a business.
Yeah, as a business.
As a business, we were broke as shit.
Again, broke is relative, but yeah.
I was.
Yeah, you were more broke.
I was real broke. There was no relativity.
We combined. That was before we enmeshed our finances.
Yes, and that happened shortly thereafter. Thank goodness. It was great. It was great for me. Well, I'm making $10,000 a month. How come I don't have any money at the end of the month? You're spending 12. Interesting. Yeah. That goes back to the episode we talked about yesterday. This is keeping you broke forever. I talked about how overwhelmed I was. Overwhelmed with the lack of money. Overwhelmed with stress. Overwhelmed with responsibility I couldn't handle. Overwhelmed with anxiety. Overwhelmed with depression. I'd much rather be intentionally overwhelmed with opportunity. And I think if you have a negative relationship with overwhelm, you're going to pump the brakes probably long before you need to.
I told Kev before we hit record that I wanted him to try to explain this better than me, because I had this moment on the huddle yesterday where I was like, wait a minute, we don't sound very good. I'm having those moments of, wow, we sound... Because I was saying...
In terms of perception.
Yeah, in terms of perception. To others, to the team. And I said, I just want to explain this business concept to the team because I don't want to presuppose people know everything. I'm just going to blanket it so we're all on the same page. I said, just so everyone knows, the fact that we don't have time to do the Dreamliner 3.0, the Dreamliner 2.0 is great. The Dreamliner 3.0 is going to be way fucking better. But the fact that we don't have time to do that is a good thing. We have other more important things. And I used to say this in productivity episodes we would do. if you study productivity, if you study business, if you study career development, if you study how things succeed or fail, the people that are the most overwhelmed are the people that have the most opportunity. So if you think of your social life and you're overwhelmed because you have every barbecue and every wedding and back in the day, back in college, I was so overwhelmed because I knew people in all 12 of the fraternities. I knew people in all 5 of the sororities. I was in a bunch of clubs. I played intramural basketball. I had computer science degree I was trying to get. I played video games. I was in tournaments. It was too much. I had high school friends and college friends, and my high school friends and college friends were talking. And then I had girls I was dating. Girl at a time. Girl at a time.
I almost caught you there.
There was always one at a time. Let me be honest. At one point in early on, I remember I was talking to a couple girls at once, but I wasn't ever sleeping with multiple girls at once. Okay, there you go.
Respect.
Yeah, thank you. So, anyways, I was overwhelmed as hell because my social life was flourishing. Imagine just hypothetically getting famous, you're going to be overwhelmed as fuck. Matthew McConaughey, don't associate me with him. I read his book. I like his book. And Green Lights, in the book, he says, when I first was in the movie A Time to Kill with Samuel L. Jackson, it's a great film. Great film. And when that first came out, he became famous. And he talks about this story, how he was walking down the street to the same sub place that he used to get subs at, and all of a sudden everyone knew him, and he was on a billboard, and everyone loved him, and people he never even met, and this whole thing. From that moment on, he was overwhelmed as hell. Brene Brown, she talks about this all the time. She's like, I burnt out. Well, for the first 20 years as a researcher, when no one gave a shit, like, you weren't overwhelmed at all. You wake up, you get your coffee, you head into the office, you do a little bit of work, then you go to lunch. Yeah, no. I remember back in sales and corporate, I would be so freaking overwhelmed, but that's good because we have so many goddamn customers. I had to go to this place, drive to here. I did Vermont, Connecticut, Western Massachusetts. That was my territory. It was so overwhelming. I was in my early 20s. I had too many friends. I had too much on my plate. It was brutal. But I wonder, and this is what I want to land for everybody, if you're not overwhelmed, you're probably not climbing a tall mountain.
Well, even if we think about it, even if we take time out, let's just take time out, right? Let's take time out and say you have 3 big priorities. Let's just say you have 3 big priorities in terms of moving your career forward, moving your business forward, moving your dream forward, whatever it is. So for me, it's WhatsApp, Next Level Podcast Solutions, and other podcasts, essentially. Those are my 3 things. Mm-hmm. The Dreamliner is not on there. That is not one of my big priorities. I'm so overwhelmed with opportunity in my big 3 priorities that the less important priorities cannot get time because I need to deliver that time to the main priorities. That's a really good problem to have. That is a really, really, really good problem to have. And I think that's the problem that we all aspire to get to, but it does feel scary at times, and it does feel trapping in times.
Do you think when you talk about, so when I said, Kevin and I don't have time to do the Dreamliner until January 1st of 2026, do you think that comes off like we're less adequate or something, or less competent?
I think it can. That I've just started saying it's not a priority. It's just not a priority. It's not a big priority.
The reason you say that though is because it's a cred hit?
No, because in my mind, I don't want to convince myself I don't have time, because if it was the most important thing, I would do it.
Of course.
That's just my new frame of I don't...
Do you think it comes off as a credit hit?
No.
Okay.
No.
Being overwhelmed doesn't come off as a credit hit? I think a lot of people do romanticize carefree wandering. Like, oh, you can
Definitely.
go to lunch at noon, so that must mean you have your shit together. When in reality, you just probably don't have a lot going on.
Yeah, I think it depends on... and it also depends on how the person says it. Like, I say that all the time, where I'm the most overwhelmed I've ever been, but I'm also the most fulfilled I've ever been.
Right.
And my life is the best it's ever been.
What did you use to think about all this? Because, again...
I'll tell you exactly.
Okay.
I'll tell you 100%. I think one of the reasons it's scary is because people start their own thing because they think it'll be easier. And they think, well, the entrepreneurs and the business owners and the influencers I look up to aren't overwhelmed at all.
Did you think it would be easier?
No.
Okay.
No, but I didn't start this to make money, and I didn't start this to work less. I started this because I enjoyed podcasting. Again, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
If that wasn't the case, thank goodness.
But
we had some stars align in hindsight.
I literally was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about how somebody was unhappy with their job, and they're like, "Yeah, it's time for me to start my own business." It's like, and I don't think so. I don't think that's A does not necessarily equal B in this case. You could go get another job if you want.
That you don't dislike. Right?
It's like, oh, I work so much and I don't have any time to myself. I'm going to start my own thing. It's worse though. So, it's not better, especially in the beginning. Eventually, maybe 20, 30 years down the line, sure. But
what do you really believe?
I think most people start their own thing because they think when they're their own boss, they make their own schedule. And yes, you do, but your schedule is 24/7, 365.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have 108 bosses, clients and business owners that we work for, in a way.
Yep.
What a cred hit that is. It's so interesting. We could easily be, I'm the CEO, I'm my own boss.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I say that all the time.
Obviously, right? I can fire.
I'm not. I have a boss. You're my boss. You are, whether you like to hear it or not, you are my boss.
I'm realizing how much there's a disconnect in the world between what is status and what is true. There is such a fucking huge margin.
The opposite. Yeah,
they're
the
the
opposite.
complete opposite. Like, it would sound really cool for me to say, yeah, we're having 100K month and I'm my own boss and it's my own company and I don't really have to work if I don't want to. That's all true. But I'd go out of fucking business in 2 years. Yeah. Probably 2 months, to be honest. It wouldn't be 2 months. But NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. That is so hard. That's got to be one of the main reasons why most people don't learn things that they really need to learn, because people aren't that honest about it.
The thing that creates the allure, that creates the attraction, is not the thing that created the success. That's all it is. It's all. If you see me, you're going to see pictures of me on the golf course. Okay, That's not what created the opportunity for me to be on the golf course. It's all the shit you don't see. It's the 14-hour days. Yesterday, I had to get up at 5 in the morning because I had to charge my car, and then I went to the gym and I did 45 minutes of cardio, and then I worked an 11-hour day, and then I drove an hour and a half to get my suit fitted while on a call with the team. Then I drove and walked into the suit place on WhatsApp, making sure nothing was going wrong. Drove an hour and a half home, said, "Hey, babe, what's happening?" Came into the office at 8:30 p.m. to send an email for a potential client to move some pieces, and then was talking to somebody via email while I was cooking my dinner at 9 o'clock. And that was just a regular day. That was nothing special about that.
Here's the lesson that just came to me. Abundance is earned through intelligent choices and work ethic every day. If you want to be abundant, you have to earn it every day. Like, we are abundant. I could fire any client. I could fire any team member. I'm not going to. That's just a hypothetical. I could do whatever I want, whenever I want. Seriously, as CEO, I could do that. I never will.
I'll put you down. I'll be right there to put you down.
Yeah, Kev, come break my kneecaps. We're joking. But seriously, I could. But I earned that for the last decade by working every single day. Every day. I haven't taken a full day off in 10 years. I'm not joking. That's why the Panera people were like, dude, every night, get the fuck out.
You gotta go.
Right? You gotta go. And it's like, I'm sorry, I was in flow. They don't even know what the fuck flow is, probably. Flow is you're fully immersed. You're completely immersed. It's called the zone. I spend every single day building myself, building the family, building the business. Every day. Build the self, build the family, build the business. Build the self, build the family, build the business. Build the self, build the family, build the business. Every single day. Dude, I noticed it when you were golfing. I noticed it. And I was like, fuck, we are losing ground. We are. We're losing ground. That's the truth. I know you don't want to hear it. I know no one else wants to hear it. I know everyone wants to think you can golf and be successful. I'm telling you right now, we were losing ground. But no one can calculate that. And I showed Kevin some projections, and you would never know that we're losing. so badly in the future. You're taking from our future. And that's fine if you want to do it with your future. But again,
it's intense.
I digress.
I think potential and what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunity cost. That's all intense. I mean, if you're doing something today, it's affecting your future in a positive way or a negative way. And most likely more than you think. Well, I asked, I went to ChatGPT and I said, explain compounding to me as if I was a 5-year-old.
Nice.
That's a great little thing. Great little hack.
Solid prompt.
And it said, okay, Kevin, whatever.
Kevin Jr.
I give you a jelly bean. That jelly bean then creates 2 jelly beans. Then from those 2 jelly beans create 4 jelly beans. And then it goes to 8 jelly beans. Then it goes to 16, 32, blah, 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 blah. And you don't see that one jelly bean is actually creating 2, and then it's creating 4, and then it's creating 8. Something you do today quite literally could be the reason you're successful in 15 years because you started it today and then you never stopped doing it. Mm-hmm. Something you start today could literally be the reason you die in 20 years because you started it today and you never stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm. Who's that baseball player? This is the best metaphor. And it's very sad, of course, but I think that's why it will land. And I don't know baseball. I wasn't necessarily a fan, but he chewed tobacco. A lot of baseball players chew tobacco. He chewed tobacco for 30 fucking years and not a single sign of anything. And then he was dead within 3 years with throat cancer.
Yeah, I don't remember, but that's probably pretty common, especially back in the day.
Because I want this to land for everybody, I know we got to jump. Everyone think of a family member who you love dearly, who you've just watched suddenly go very downhill. I had to watch my grandma lose her mind. And she just never slept well. She never took care of herself, her health. She had a physical body. She swam every day. So her physical body was good, but her mind was not. My grandma, love her, she was not an intelligent woman who worked on her brain. And she lost. You can study this. You can research this. The Alzheimer's research shows that if you get poor sleep consistently over decades, you have a much higher chance of getting Alzheimer's. Cause and effect is a thing, right? The global pandemic of COVID started with one person getting one illness, and then it became 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, and it kept going. 2048.
Well, and that is what a small habit can be too. Right?
Exactly.
So that's my takeaway, my next level lesson before we get out of here. Overwhelm is a good thing if it's in a positive direction and if it's by your own doing towards the goal that you want. I'm overwhelmed because we're trying to get more clients, to grow the business, to add more value, to impact the world, to learn more about podcasting, all that stuff. This is good. This is good to be overwhelmed. It's a very, very good thing. So maybe it's time to reevaluate our relationship with overwhelm. Maybe it's time to reevaluate our relationship with our goals. Do we want to go in a new direction? Overwhelm is not the issue. I think the direction of overwhelm is.
This will be the last thing, metaphor. I heard it in The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Great book. Most powerful concept ever, I believe, is the compound effect. He said that he went to ski and he was so pumped. He skied all day as a kid. I skied as a kid too. And he went to his dad. He said, Dad, I didn't fall down once. And his dad was pretty intense and said, well, then you didn't get any better. And that's the truth. So when you see someone enjoying life, it's not hard, the workouts are easy, everything's good, they're always on time, everything's simple, everything's easy going, la la land, candy land, my brain goes, they're losing. Versus the person climbing Mount Everest that is struggling, they're running out of oxygen, they can barely make base camp, they're fucking struggle bus, and then they get to the pillow and they go, fuck yeah, I did something meaningful today. Those people are growing. The people you're not going to see people that are really, 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 really successful without struggling to get there. Think of any athlete you can think of. It was brutal. You hear their stories. It's like, oh, it was terrible. I had to do this. Michael Phelps is the best example. 5 years straight in the pool, birthdays, Christmas, every holiday. I was in the pool every fucking day. Me and my coach, I screamed at him. I fucking hated him, all this stuff. That's just the truth. You can't be Michael Phelps and not do that. That's impossible. You can't be the best in the world at anything without struggle. It's just unintelligent. And I don't know why we've lost sight of that, or if we ever didn't have sight of that, but overwhelm is a good thing. If you're not overwhelmed in your career, you're not growing. Imagine the CEO of a billion-dollar company being like, yeah, I just kind of hang out. I said this to the team last piece. I said, imagine if you walk into Apple right now, Apple headquarters in Cupertino, California, and everyone's just chilling, hanging out, talking. That would be very alarming. Be like, don't you guys have work to do? Right? Aren't we here to change the fucking world? What are we doing here? Oh my God. That's intense, but the truth is, if you want to grow and climb meaningful mountains and achieve more, and you're more overwhelmed than you've ever been. For sure. By far.
Yeah, for sure.
And you are more successful than you've ever been by far. That is 100% correlated.
Well, and you become more capable too. That's the other thing. I'm far more capable than I've been. It's not like I'm losing sleep. I sleep like a baby every night. It's great. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night freaking out, which is good. I used to a lot more than I do now. And again, that I will have another season where that happens, and then I'll adjust, rinse and repeat that forever. That is how change occurs. All right, cool. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.